Well, yeah, so that's the end of that. So I'm down to 2 teams left in the playoffs. Tomorrow night it could be 1, and then we could be down to 0 based on what I'm seeing tonight, which I'll get to when we get to reviewing that one in about an hour's time. Um, I just want to say I'm proud of the effort by Boston today. I'm proud of what they did in their exit. I am sure there will be those who will jump up and say, hey, they didn't really want to be there. They weren't making the, this is different because, bubble situation. And, in a real situation, they would have beaten Tampa. I'm sure we will hear that from some, not from many. But I would counter with no. No. Tampa Bay is kind of sort of on a mission. And this series mirrored the 2018 series. So first period, I am so tired of them calling it the perfection line. It is one of those things that just sticks with me. And by the end of this game, that line's broken up because they weren't playing well together. And they needed to get other lines going. I have seen the Bruins sometimes play better when they have Pastrnak on the second line and you have Marchand and Bergeron on the first, because then you can't just key on one line for Boston. So yeah. Nick Ritchie was out, which was good because that saved us killing off a whole bunch of power plays. Kucherov gets a post. It's only a minute and a half in, and I already had this sense that, okay, Tampa's here to win this. This is a game that they understand what they're up against. Halak stopped Killorn, was all Tampa Bay early on, and teams coming into tonight were 6-16 when facing elimination in these playoffs. So it's never over till it's over. In these playoffs, it generally has been. And by the end of this game, it's 6-17. It looks like the other game I'm going to talk about later, we may end up with a different result. Shots, avoiding spoilers. Shots are 3-1 for the Bolts at 8 minutes. The odds I thought were against the Bruins in this one. Bruins did push at the half, but Vasilevsky's sharp. Can we have the conversation yet about the fact that Vasilevsky is one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League? And throughout this series, his numbers have been very good. 28 on 31, 22 on 25, 23 on 24, 29 on 30. His numbers have been excellent throughout this series. And sadly, the way that this could be phrased is, well, Halak wasn't good enough. He's just not Vasilevsky, and very few goaltenders are. Vasilevsky denied Coyle, and he's pretty good. Chara, high stick. Bolts power play after good Kucherov chance. 4 minutes for Chara. The high stick catches Kucherov. He went down. He would leave the game. He'd come back, but he'd leave the game again. I hope Kucherov's okay. I do. But it looked to me like he was concussed on the play. Bruins killed it. 0 shots. They survived that. Gaudreau takes a penalty. The Bruins go to the power play, but we go to the second period still scoreless. Kucherov was back to start the second period, so that's good news for Tampa. That will change to not so great news after. Halak stopped Gord on a shot. The Bolts were in control, and then Palat scores from Shattenkirk and Coleman at 4:21. The Bruins tried to answer. Vasilevsky denied Bjork, and again, Vasilevsky playing really, really well. Just, it's worthy of note that without Vasilevsky, this game likely would have gone in favor of Boston. Kucherov then guilty of a trip. The Bruins go to the power play, but the struggles persist until Pastrnak scores from Krejci and Bergeron at 12:38. Now, the interesting thing with that was this is in the second period. This is where Pasternak's been dropped to the second line. And perfect pass and shot, Krejci to Pastrnak. Post then by Bogosian, and Kucherov exited the game again. So Kucherov heads back down. And again, he didn't look right. He takes that tripping penalty. It was kind of one of those plays that you don't really expect with Kucherov. And again, he just didn't look right, which is why I think it's probably going to be a concussion. Halak denied Palat. Strong period for the Bruins. They needed another goal, though. They needed a lead, and they never got a lead in this game. Grzelcyk takes a penalty. Bolts go on the power play, but then Yanni Gord is given a hooking penalty, and we have a minute and 17 of 4-on-4 play. So we go to the third period tied at 1. Kucherov, not on the bench to start the third, would not return to this game. Coyle line pressured early. Charlie Coyle played really, really well in this game. He did. He earned his money today. Halak denied point. Vasilevsky then denied Kuhlman. The Bruins turned it over, and Halak held off Palat on a very good chance that he had. as Andre Palat has another good game. There was then a hit by Cedric Paquette on McAvoy down in the corner. There wasn't a penalty, and really there didn't need to be. It's one of those ones where McAvoy turns at the last moment. There's no way that Paquette could have stopped. Honestly, it could have been a lot worse if he wanted it to be. It was a scary looking hit. Head into the boards for McAvoy. He would exit the game, but he would come back. So both teams were down a key player at that point. McAvoy for the Bruins, Kucherov for Tampa. And remember, Tampa Bay was playing 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. So now they were down to 10 forwards for the rest of the game, which makes this all the more impressive how it turns out. Cirelli would score from Hedman and point at 12:03. They won the face-off after an icing by Boston. It was a nice tip from the point by Cirelli on the Hedman shot. And Tampa Bay, now they're just looking to lock it down. Just lock it down and finish it off. Bjork had a chance that was blocked, and then Krejci would score from Chara and Clifton at 17:27. So with 2.5 minutes left, Boston says, hey, we're not going away. It's fine, it's the third period, but we're not going anywhere. That one went off of Palat's stick to Krejci. Krejci puts it in the net. Hedman then takes a penalty. Boston goes to the power play with 1 minute and 56 seconds left. And I'm thinking, wow, this could go Boston's way. But Tampa Bay, to their credit, they kill it off. So we go to the overtime, or fourth period, as I've got it on the board here. Early chance for the Bolts went wide. The Coyle line had a pretty good shift. Marchand tried spinning away from a play in the Bolt zone. I think it was against Bogosian. The shots were 6-0 Bruins 8 minutes in, and it was almost a period in between shots for Tampa. I've been talking about this, how teams will go a long time without a shot, and in Tampa's case, it was almost a full period they went without a shot. Not that in the end it matters. Krejci takes a penalty. Bolts go to the power play, looking to end it. Vasilevsky then denied Lindholm, who had a pretty good game for the Boston Bruins. Gaudreau then had a chance that barely missed, and we end up needing another period, which meant I had to go to the other board. So we go to the small board now for period number 5, or overtime period number 2. Charlie Coyle's at 10 shots in this game. Marchand at 0. Marchand is going to be upset with his play in this game. He had a lot of opportunities that just didn't go. And there are opportunities normally he would bury, and in this game they just did not go. I don't know if he was fighting with an injury, if it's just it got in his head and he just couldn't get it, but he couldn't get one of them to go. Halak denied point on a turnover. Tampa was definitely trying to end it early. Things get kind of scrummy. The missed passes were driving me insane. Boston, I don't know if they were rushed passes because of pressure or perceived pressure, or if it was just trying to, catch them off guard, but there were a lot of missed passes by Boston where I thought, if he just takes that extra breath, who knows? And that's where I get nervous, because when you make that missed pass, that means the other team's getting it, they're coming back in. And Tampa Bay had that puck a lot in that second overtime. Halak stopped Schenn. He then stopped Shattenkirk. He can't stop them all, but he was stopping as much as he could. Tampa was definitely the better team in this period. Nordstrom had a chance. A bobble behind the net by Vasilevsky. The net is empty. Nordstrom from behind the net's trying to bring it out front, and Sergachev stops it. If Sergachev doesn't stop it, that puck goes in the net, and we're going to Game 6. As it stands, that's kept out. I'm sure that Sergachev will get a drink out of this from Vasilevsky, although the rest of the team owes Vasilevsky a drink. And then it's Maroon from Hedman at 14:10. This was really heavy pressure through more than one shift. So this is just pressure, 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 as Tampa Bay is not letting Boston off the hook. They didn't. The series is over with that heavy pressure. Tampa Bay was the better team when it mattered in that double overtime. The shots favored Boston in every period except that double overtime. 8-5 in the first, 15-8 in the second, 12-8 in the third. First overtime, 11-7. In the third overtime, the shots were 6-1 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Final shots 47-35 in favor of Boston. Power plays 1 for 4 for the Bruins, 0 for 4 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Halak saves 32 out of 35. Vasilevsky was fantastic, saves 45 out of 47. So, comparing this series with the series from 2018, Boston won Game 1 6-2 2 years ago. They won 3-2 this year. Game 2 was a 4-2 win for Tampa. They won it 4-3 in overtime this year. 4-1 in Game 3. They won Game 3 7-1 this year. They won Game 4 4-3 in overtime. Tampa Bay wins it 3-1 this year. Game 5 was a 3-1 win for Tampa. They win it 3-2 in double overtime this year. The series felt very, very similar. Boston played well. They played well throughout most of this series as well. Other than Game 3, this series was pretty close. Just Tampa Bay turned out to be the better team. I wish them the best of luck the rest of the way. And we'll see whether or not the Islanders punch their ticket to meet the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow, or if the Flyers can make that more of a series. But this drops the record of teams facing elimination to 6-17. We'll see what happens the rest of the way in the Colorado-Dallas game. And yeah, we'll see. Although in that one, I will have to talk about some of the graphics they've been putting up and stuff. And it's like, it kind of feels like they're saying, don't change the channel. Don't. You kind of get that feeling. But anyways, there you go. Tampa Bay Lightning they're off to the conference finals. Congratulations to Tampa. I do not dislike the Tampa Bay Lightning, despite this result tonight. I do not dislike the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the right team got the victory. And for Boston, there are some questions to be answered now about whether or not Boston's window is getting kind of close to closing. They were in the Stanley Cup final last year, Game 7. This year they're out in round 2. And their core is getting older, and now the questions of Torrey Krug and how much he's worth are going to start getting asked. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, I mean it. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I will talk to you guys again soon.